Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Bibbidi Books. My name is Ellie and today I thought it would be really fun to film a video where I talk through all of the watery, oceany fantasy books that I have on my TBR, because I feel like that's a genre that I really enjoy, but I struggle to find books that kind of fit that niche. And when I've been searching online, I feel like not many people have put together a list about this kind of fantasy story, so I hope this is helpful to you. I'm really excited to give all of these a read at some point. I'm hoping to pick up quite a few this summer, but we shall see. I do have quite a lot on this list, so yeah, without further ado, I'm going to jump straight in with the first book. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a traditional piratey story, and that is On Stranger Tides by Tim Powers. So this is the book that inspired the Pirates of the Caribbean movie franchise, which is a franchise that I do enjoy. So I think this is going to be a whole lot of fun. So if you're looking for a pirate kick, then maybe check out this story. So I'll give you a little read of the synopsis. So it says, aboard the vociferous Carmichael, puppeteer John Chauvignac is sailing towards Jamaica to claim his stolen birthright from an unscrupulous uncle when the vessel is captured by pirates. Offered a choice by Captain Phil Davies to join their seafaring band or die, Chauvignac assumes the name John Shandy and a new life as a brigand. But more than swashbuckling sea battles and fabulous plunder await the novice buccaneer on the rolling Caribbean waters, for treachery and powerful voodoo and sorcery are coins of the realm in this dark new world. I mean, that just sounds like a whole lot of fun, doesn't it? It sounds like a classic pirate story full of adventure and swashbuckling and everything that you want from a pirate book. So I'm really excited to give that one a go. Next up we have The Bone Ships by R.J. Barker. So this is the first book in a fantasy series as far as I'm aware, and this one says, for generations the 100 Isles have built their ships from the bones of ancient dragons to fight an endless war. The dragons disappeared, but battles for supremacy persisted. Now the first dragon in centuries has been spotted in far-off waters, and both sides see a chance to shift the balance of power in their favour, because whoever catches it will win not only glory, but the war. So yeah, I think that one sounds really good. I love the fact that we have these ships that are built from the bones of ancient dragons. That's such a cool concept, and I've heard quite a lot of good things about this series, so I'm excited to give it a go for myself. Next up we have something a little bit different. This one is The Deep, and it's written by Rivers Solomon, David Diggs, William Hudson and Jonathan Snipes. So this is actually a novella, and I've heard some really fantastic things about this novella. Apparently it packs quite a punch, and it explores themes of generational trauma, which I think sounds really interesting. So it says on the synopsis, the water-breathing descendants of African slave women tossed overboard have built their own underwater society and must reclaim the memories of their past to shape their future in this brilliantly imaginative novella inspired by the Hugo Award nominated song The Deep. So yeah, from what I understand of this book, I think that the past is so traumatic to these people that it's kind of removed from everybody's memories, and it's just the job of one person who's known as the historian to remember their past, and that task is obviously given to our main character. So she is the only one who can remember the trauma, and yeah, it sounds like it's going to be really emotional and impactful, and I think it sounds like a really interesting concept, so I'm very much looking forward to giving that one a try. Next up we have a fairy tale retelling, and we all know how I feel about fairy tale retellings. So this one is House of Salt and Sorrows, written by Erin A. Craig. This one has been on my TBR for the longest time. I remember it was really popular here on booktube a couple of years back, and I put it on my TBR and I've just never gotten around to it, which is such a shame because I think it sounds so good. It sounds really dark and creepy, which is my kind of fairy tale retelling, and yeah, I'm really intrigued by this one because it's the 12 Dancing Princesses. It's that story that's been retold, and it sounds really great. So I'll give you a read of the synopsis. Annalie lives a sheltered life at Highmoor, a manor by the sea, with her sisters, their father and stepmother, but loneliness fills the grand halls now that 4 of the girls' lives have been cut short. Each death was more tragic than the last. A plague, a plummeting fall, a drowning, a slippery plunge, and there are whispers throughout the surrounding villages that their family is cursed by the gods. Yeah, I've heard this one is really creepy, so I don't know whether this is best to save until sort of autumn Halloween time or whether to just jump straight in the summer with this one, but I've heard some fantastic things about this and I'm very excited for that one. Okay, next up we have another creepy book, and that is The Rays Incident by Brianna Morgan. So this is a fantasy horror book, and I haven't heard that many people talking about this one, but I stumbled across the cover on Instagram and was instantly drawn in because it's such a creepy cover and it's so eye-catching. And then when I read the synopsis, I was intrigued. So yeah, I'll be really interested to give this one a go. So all it says for the synopsis is: a local legend gone haywire, a small town cop, an impossible eyewitness testimony. Which is easier to believe, that killer mermaids exist or that one person is worth risking everything for? I mean, that doesn't give much away, does it? But I'm intrigued by the premise of killer mermaids. And it also says that it's for fans of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Into the Drowning Deep. And it says that it is a chilling horror steeped in urban rumour. So yeah, colour me intrigued. I think that sounds really interesting. So we'll give that a go when I'm craving something a little bit creepy. Okay, so next up we have a fantasy series that is very popular and I've had my eye on for a very long time, and that is The Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. So I think it's called The Mad Ship Traders or something. And yeah, I've wanted to pick up this series for such a long time, and I really wanted to try Robin Hobb's work. I love anything that's set on the sea and has those ocean vibes, anything with ships and everything, hence why I've got this TBR. But yeah, so I've always been really drawn in by the Mad Ship Traders trilogy by Robin Hobb, but I have been told that you should probably read her first trilogy before going into the Mad Ship Traders if you want to like not get any spoilers. So that's what's been putting me off starting this series, which is such a shame because this is the one that catches my eye more so than the first trilogy. So if you have read any of these books, please do let me know if you think that it's okay to jump straight in with the Ship of Magic, or if you do think that I should go back and read her first trilogy. But yeah, I don't know a whole ton about this one. I've just heard that Robin Hobb's character work is fantastic and her writing is amazing. I think her books are quite slow paced, but I quite like a slow story, so I don't think that will be a problem for me. And all I really know about this book is that there are these ships that are built of magical wood, and that the ships come to life when 3 generations of people die on board, which is such an interesting concept. So yeah, I'm very intrigued to find out a little bit more about that one. I don't want to read too much into the synopsis because sometimes I prefer to go in without knowing too much. But yeah, I've heard a lot of fantastic things about that book. Next up we have another very famous fantasy book, and that is The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. I have wanted to read this book for so long, but I've been a little bit intimidated by it because of how much praise it gets, and I'm just worried that I won't love it as much as other people seem to. And for some reason I just feel a little bit daunted by this series, but I am hoping to get to it at some point. Now I know that the second book is definitely oceany. I think that one is called Red Seas Under Red Skies, but I'm not sure about the first book. I do think that it follows a kind of band of piratey people known as the Gentleman Bastards, so I'm including it in this TBR. Okay, so I'm just going to read a little bit of the synopsis because I don't actually know a huge amount about this one. I've just seen it everywhere. So this one says, an orphan's life is harsh and often short in the mysterious island city of Camor, but young Locke Lamora dodges death and slavery, becoming a thief under the tutelage of a gifted con artist. As leader of the band of the light-fingered brothers known as the Gentleman Bastards, Locke is soon infamous, fooling even the underworld's most feared ruler. But in the shadows lurks someone still more ambitious and deadly. Faced with a bloody coup that threatens to destroy everyone and everything that holds meaning to his mercenary life, Locke vows to beat the enemy at his own brutal game or die trying. Okay, that sounds really great. That might have just bumped up a little bit on my TBR. I think this one's going to be really, really fantastic. Let me know if you've read this one and if you think that I would enjoy it. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Okay, next up we have another creepy book, and this one is Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. So this one sounds like such an interesting premise. So it says, 7 years ago, the Antarctic I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. They set off on a voyage to the Mariana Trench to film a mockumentary bringing to life ancient sea creatures of legend. It was lost at sea with all hands. Some have called it a hoax, others have called it a maritime tragedy. Now a new crew has been assembled, but this time they're not out to entertain. Some seek to validate their life's work, some seek the greatest hunt of all, some seek the truth. But for the ambitious young scientist Victoria Stewart, this is a voyage to uncover the fate of the sister she lost. Whatever the truth may be, it will only be found below the waves. But the secrets of the deep come with a price. I think this one sounds so interesting. I love the fact that we have this crew that went missing when they were trying to film this mockumentary, and I'm guessing that what they thought was fake might actually be true. I'm expecting there to be some sea creatures. I'm expecting it to be really dark and scary, and to be honest, a horror book that's kind of set under the water just is terrifying to me, because the open ocean and like deep water and everything is just really scary to me. So yeah, I think that's going to be a really interesting one. And then next up we just have a couple of YA books just to lighten things up a little bit. So sometimes I like to pick up a YA or young adult book to break up reading adult fantasy, just because they're a little bit more light-hearted and a little bit more easy to fly through. Sometimes adult fantasy takes a lot of your attention, so sometimes it's nice to have something that's not quite so intense. So the first one that I have my eye on is Fable by Adrian Young. So this one says, for 17-year-old Fable, the daughter of the most powerful trader in the Narrows, the sea is the only home she has ever known. It's been 4 years since the night she watched her mother drown during an unforgiving storm. The next day, her father abandoned her on a legendary island filled with thieves and little food. To survive, she must keep to herself, learn to trust no one, and rely on the unique skills her mother taught her. The only thing that keeps her going is the goal of getting off island, finding her father, and demanding her rightful place beside him and his crew. To do so, Fable enlists the help of a young trader named West to get her off the island and across the Narrows to her father. Yeah, so I think this is just going to be quite a light-hearted piratey story, and I probably will pick this one up quite soon. I think this is going to be the perfect one to read maybe on holiday by the pool or something, where you don't want to have anything too heavy and you just want something that's going to be fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Okay, so next up we have another fun YA, and that is Daughter of the Pirate King, written by Trisha Levenseller. So again, I think this is going to be quite a light-hearted fun one to pick up in the summer. I think this one is quite heavy on the romance, which again might be quite fun for the summer months if you're looking for something a little bit light and, you know, you like a bit of romance during the summer months. I don't know. So this one says, sent on a mission to retrieve an ancient hidden map, the key to the legendary treasure trove, 17-year-old pirate captain Alossa desperately allows herself to be captured by her enemies, giving her the perfect opportunity to search their ship. More than a match for the ruthless pirate crew, Alossa has only one thing standing between her and the map, her captor, the unexpectedly clever and unfairly attractive first mate Raiden. But not to worry, for Alossa has a few tricks up her sleeve, and no lone pirate can stop the daughter of the Pirate King. Yeah, I think this is just going to be quite a nice, fun, light-hearted one, and I'm looking forward to it. Okay, and lastly, I wanted to include a middle grade story because I do enjoy reading children's stories every now and then. I do think it's a nice way to add a little breath of fresh air to your TBR and to your reading, and there's just something so magical about middle grade. So yeah, I wasn't sure which one to put on here because there have been a lot of watery middle grades, but I'm actually going to choose one that was published quite a while ago that I've had my eye on and I've heard really fantastic things about, but I haven't actually read yet. So that one is The Island at the End of Everything, and it's written by Kira Millwood Hargrave. So this one says, Amy lives with her mother on an island where the sea is as blue as the sky. It's all she knows and loves, but the arrival of malicious government official Mr. Zamora changes her world forever. Her island is to be made into a colony for lepers. Taken from her mother and banished across the sea, Amy faces an uncertain future in an orphanage. But there she meets a honey-eyed girl named Butterflies, and together they discover a secret that will lead her on an adventure home. Amy must go back to the island of no return, but will she make it in time? So yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a lovely story, and it's going to talk about some heavier themes as well, which sometimes I quite like in a middle grade story. So I think it delves into a little bit of grief, but also friendship and family and love. And I've heard from some other people that it's very poetic in the way that it's written as well, which sounds right up my street. So I'm expecting it to be a really lovely middle grade story and a nice quick one to read as well. So yeah, that brings me to the end of this video. I really hope that you've enjoyed this TBR. I hope that you found some recommendations from this video if you fancy picking up a watery fantasy story this summer. If you have any recommendations for me, please do drop them down below, because I'm always on the hunt for this type of story. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a like, because it does actually really help my channel, and consider subscribing if you haven't already, if you want to see more from me. And yeah, I guess I'll see you next time with another video. Bye!